Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 17 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Marwayne A. He is actually friends with yesterday's house guest of the day, John. So that's pretty cool, Big Brother bringing people together. Alright, so yesterday we touched a little bit on Johnny Mac and Vanessa in the cabana room. I wanted to talk about it a little bit more because things were getting heated and it was a little crazy. So first they were talking about how Vanessa potentially exposed the 8-person double eviction deal. Are you okay?
No.
Okay. If you want to hear more about that, I talked about it more in yesterday's spoiler. But anyway, she was saying like, no, it was Becky, I didn't say that, blah, 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 blah. She brought in Steve, she tried to squash the whole thing. Moving on, they talked about some other stuff. They were talking about that eviction day argument with Clay and James, and Vanessa's just like, well, I need to know, did Clay or James say anything bad about me? And Johnny Mac was just like, oh, I'm not doing this right now. He was like, I felt really bullied by you during that argument. You kept demanding a name, and I didn't want to have to give it to you. So then they went around and around about that for a while, and Johnny Mac was like, I don't like it when you start crying and yelling at people. Nobody likes that. But Vanessa's like, I'm sorry, you felt like I bullied you, and I don't like crying or yelling at people either, so don't make me. So then she apologizes for that and she leaves, but it was just like, whoa, like these two are right now. So then not long after that they had nominations and Becky and Johnny Mac are up on the block, and as of that time Johnny Mac was the target. So John was not taking it well. It was a combination of being nominated, being named a have-not, and like all of his friends are going home. He hates that. So the other house guests were talking about how he was giving them like these death stares, and Austin was like, he looked like he wanted to punch me in the face. Maybe he does. But Vanessa goes right up to that HOH. She's already trash talking John up there. She's talking to the Oz twins and Steve, and she's telling them, Johnny Mac called me a bully, and that's not okay. If anything, he was the bully, and I was the victim in that situation. And she was saying that Johnny is so volatile, and she's afraid of him, she's scared of him. Give me a break. So then, meanwhile, Johnny Mac and Meg were chatting in the have-not room, and John was like, so I caught Vanessa in this huge lie, and now she wants me out because I'm the last person that knows about this. So she just wants to like get me out of here so she'll be all good again. So then Meg is like, you need to take this up to the HOH right now, to those Oz twins, and start throwing Vanessa under the bus, because like there could be a chance that maybe when they hear this they'll want to go after her. So Johnny Mac doesn't tell Meg what the lie is that he caught Vanessa in yet, but they agree like this could be a good time to tell the Oz twins, because they can tell Vanessa's not really running things like she used to be, so it seems like she is kind of on the outskirts of that alliance. Alright, so then Meg is telling Austin about the conversation that she just had with Johnny Mac, and she's like, yeah, he told me that he caught Vanessa in a really big lie, but he's afraid to come to you guys and tell you about it because he knows, like, you're close with Vanessa, or at least you've been close to her in the past, so he doesn't want you to just, like, turn around and tell her about it. So Austin's like, no, we need to know this. So he seems very unhappy with Vanessa, but is he going to do anything about it? I have my doubts. So he brings this information to the twins, and they're talking about how Vanessa was just up there trying to cover up that whole situation, and they don't like it. Again, are they going to do anything about it? Alright, so Johnny Mac goes up to the HOH room to have this talk that Meg encouraged him to have with Liz and Austin. So he's telling them how Vanessa revealed the double eviction deal and now she's lying about it. He gave them a lot of details about past events, specifically the fight with Clay and James, and he also went all the way back to that fight with Audrey, Day, and Jason, and he's just bringing up all these situations where like Vanessa is the cause of the drama. She's causing all of this crap. So they're all like, oh yeah, she's gotta go. But we can't do it this week. Yeah. So they're like, it would be cool if somebody else went after her next week. So Johnny is like, keep me safe this week. I'll go after her next week, and I'll even use the goblins as the pawns. So they like this. They're like, yeah, sounds really good. We'll see what we can do here. So Johnny Mac leaves, and Austin and Liz are just like, oh wow, he's great. Liz is like, oh my god, I love John. He's great. So it's kind of funny how quickly the opinion of Johnny Mac changed, because just a little while ago they were like, he's so creepy, he's gotta go, he sucks, and now they're just like, oh my god, I love him, he needs to stay. So now they're saying they want to keep him, and they want Becky to be the target. These people are just like, any way the wind blows. Okay, so Johnny Mac goes into the kitchen, and he ate a cookie by accident. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but he's a have-not, and he's on the block, so he's freaking out. I think he like asked Big Brother if he could throw it up, and they were like, no. He's nervous that he's gonna get like a penalty vote or something, so he's not happy about it. He's freaking out. He's like, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse. I've got an update for you guys. Apparently he only got a warning from Big Brother, so whew, it's all good. Alright, so the house guests were really bored last night. They were trying to keep themselves occupied. They decided they were going to play house. Meg was the grandma. Austin and Liz, I guess, were married, and Steve was their son. They kept calling him Boy, B-O-I, and it was a lot. And then Liz was braiding Austin's hair, and then they came up with a new game called Pot Ball. Pot Ball. Okay, so basically they lined up a couple of bowls and some pots, and you had to throw a foil ball into the pots, and each one had a different point value. They were really into it. And of course, Austin did his commercials for the sponsors, and you know, he loves his Irish Spring. So that's fun. Moving on, fun time was over. Meg and the Oz twins were chatting up in the HOH room. More stuff about Vanessa. At this point, they're just like, I can't even with her. Oh my god. So then Liz and Austin were talking about how they're worried, like, what if Vanessa wins HOH next week and she just goes rogue? Like, we don't know what she's gonna do. You could get rid of her this week and prevent that from happening, but no, they don't want to do that. So then Meg is like, get out of there. So then Meg is like, I feel like Vanessa wouldn't want to win HOH next week because she's got deals with everybody, so maybe she's going to throw it. And they're just like, oh yeah, maybe she will. Maybe she will. I don't think so. Vanessa's already won 2 HOHs. I don't see her throwing this one. Especially, I feel like she's got to know. Like, she's kind of on the outskirts of this alliance now, so she's going to want to win that HOH more than ever. But then Steve was giving Johnny Mac a pep talk, which was interesting, and he's like, Johnny Mac, you've been down since Clay and Shelly left. Everybody's been noticing it. Everyone wants the old you back. We want to have fun with you. So he's just like, you know what? It's been really difficult with all my friends leaving. Steve! So then Steve was also like, yeah, also keep in mind, like, you need to play nice with Vanessa right now. I know you don't like her, but you are on the block, and she does still have some power this week. She's aligned with the HOH and her crew. So Johnny Mac's just like, I know. So then Steve goes up to the HOH for a little check-in chat with Austin and Liz is telling him, look, I don't have a backdoor target this week, so the nominations have to stay the same. I have no idea who I would put up on the block. So Steve is like, well, Johnny Mac might pick me if he gets house guest choice for the veto. Is that okay? And Liz is like, yeah, it's cool for you to play for him, but I don't want you to use it, so maybe don't win. She told him, I'm not telling you to throw it, but you might want to think about not winning. So she wants you to throw it. So then they were telling Steve some of the crap that they've been hearing about Vanessa from everybody, and they're like, you need to promise you're not going to tell anybody about this, especially Vanessa. And he's like, yeah, I know. So then they were talking about how they're cool with the others going after Vanessa next week. The others meaning the house, meaning not them. They're fine with her going home, but they don't want to be the ones to do it. They're not going to do Becky's dirty work the same way that they don't want to get rid of Becky, but like they kind of do. I don't know. But Steve is like, okay, I won't tell. Okay, this morning, there was some pre-veto panic throughout the house. Becky was really nervous because Johnny Mac is pretty much the veto king this season. I would not want to be up on the block against him. She's nervous that he's going to win the veto, and then Meg is going to be the replacement nominee next to her, and obviously Meg would be a pawn, so Becky would be going home. So she's not too excited about that. Also, the Oz twins were nervous that the veto is going to be used like by anybody, and they pretty much have an alliance with everyone else who would be potential replacement nominees, so it's kind of a problem when you need a replacement nominee and you're aligned with everyone, because you're gonna have to piss someone off. So everybody was freaking out. Everybody. Then it was time to pick the players for the Power of Veto comp, and they are Liz, Becky, Johnny Mac, and the 3 extra players, Meg, Steve, and Austin. And the host was James. So after the player draw, Austin and Johnny Mac were chatting, and Austin was just like, I want you to know, you're gonna be all good if you're still up on that block on Thursday night. We got the votes locked for you already, so if you want to like throw that POV to one of us, you're gonna be good. So Johnny Mac freaking agrees to do it. He's like, yeah, I'll throw it as long as Becky's already out. What? I really hope he was just kidding. But anyway, they had the Power Veto competition, and it was a fan favorite, Otev. Can't wait to see this play out. And the winner was Liz. What? So it sounds like she's going to want to keep the nominations the same, but anything can happen before Monday. I mean, if Vanessa has like a gigantic freak out, she could be up on the block. You never know. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments, and until tomorrow, much love. Edit.